So if you don't know who this woman is, this woman, this woman, or this woman, probably you need to listen to this video because this is something that our society and history has made sure we do not learn. But it's important because thanks to their inventions and discovery, we have the luxury of living in the world that we live today. Imagine a world that was built on the tireless hands that planted the first seeds, spun the first cloth, healed the sick, and kept societies running. For most human history, those hands belong to women. Today, we're diving into the often overlooked history of women's labor and their massive contributions across every age in agriculture, medicine, crafts, and daily survival. This isn't just women's work. This is the backbone of civilization. Let's travel through time together. Long before recorded history, women were not just gatherers, they were the driving force behind the agricultural revolution around 10,000 BCE. Archaeological studies of ancient bones show that Neolithic women in Europe performed intense manual labor. Women also hunted in many foreign societies and invented early tools for food preparation, basket weaving, and pottery. Without their knowledge of plants and seeds, the shift from hunter-gatherer life to settled farming might never have happened so successfully. In the great empires of ancient world, women's work remained essential. They worked the fields, planting, harvesting, tending gardens and livestock, and sold surplus produce in markets. In Egypt, some women owned land and tools, and the textile production was almost entirely women's domain. Spinning, weaving, and dyeing cloth powered entire economies. Many women also served as midwives. In Mesopotamia and Egypt, for example, women actually brewed beer and managed households and were basically small economic units. In medieval villages, women were out in the fields alongside men, reaping crops, gardening, caring for poultry, pigs, and dairy animals, and preserving food for winter. At home and in workshops, they dominated textile work, spinning wool and flax on distaffs. Brewing ale was another major female occupation. Many alewives ran successful businesses, for example. In medicine and care, women were the primary healers. Nuns, midwives, and wise women used herbal knowledge to treat the sick. Figures like Trodula of Salerno wrote groundbreaking texts on women's health and gynecology in the 11th century, while Hildegard of Bingen, who was a nun, she used to have very advanced medical understanding. As societies changed, women continued heavy farm work and expanded into paid labor. During the Industrial Revolution of the 1760s, young women and girls flooded textile mills in Britain and New England. They operated spinning machines and looms, often making up to 50% of the workforce in cotton and wool factories. They also worked in potteries, food processing, and domestic service. Conditions were harsh, but their labor was indispensable. In the 19th to 20th centuries, women's roles exploded. On farms, they handled dairy, poultry, bookkeeping, and cash crops like eggs and vegetables. During both world wars, millions joined women's land armies in the US and Britain. Over 2.5 million American women helped feed the nation and allies when men went to fight. In medicine, barriers slowly broke. Elizabeth Blackwell became the first woman to graduate from a U.S. medical school in 1849. Rebecca Lee Crumpler became the first Black woman physician in 1864. Later came pioneers like Virginia Apgar, who created the newborn scoring system still used today, and also Alice Evans, who proved pasteurization prevents disease from contaminated milk, and many more in nursing, public health, and research. Textiles and crafts also evolved. From home, quilting and embroidery, sometimes used for political statements like abolitionist quilts, to factory work. Why does this matter? Women's labor has never been optional. It has been foundational from the beginning of humanity. From driving the invention of agriculture to sustaining economies through wars and industrialization, their contributions in fields, looms, sick rooms, and factories shaped the modern world. Yet, for centuries, much of it was unpaid, undervalued, or invisible in official records. Today, women still make up a huge portion of global agricultural labor, especially in developing countries, and dominate fields like nursing and teaching. This compilation of labor that women have done in history is just a small part of the many, many other contributions that women have had in society that history has decided to overlook or straight up forget or lied about. If you're a person that is interested in the history of women, the contributions to society, and the stories behind the women that we can learn from and admire, this is a channel for you. Because in this channel, as you can see in the title, is Heels of Her Story, we're gonna be talking about women in history, not only as far as Hollywood or famous people, but we will also be talking about women in medicine, women in the workforce, women in architecture, philosophy, queens, politicians, empresses. Every single story that we can learn from that has also contributed to the world that we have today is a story that I will try to cover in this channel. So please let me know in the comments if there's anybody that you would like me to speak on, because I'll be more than happy to. So don't forget to let me know in the comments and like and subscribe so I can see you on the next videos and we can continue to learn and grow this community. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.